we say people, 1 in 5 women have PCOS. The records in India, if you look at the national health records, after 2016, I have not seen this number changed. In fact, the last article that one of the leading newspapers wrote was, who quoted 1 in 5, is a very archaic number. It's been almost like 9-10 years.
She fell, she fought, and in the end, she emerged victorious. This is the woman of today, and she is made of steel. Come and watch how she slays.
Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, or PCOS, is becoming common among women nowadays. According to industry estimates, 1 in 5 women face this hormonal disorder, but few talk about it. Welcome to She Slays. Today we have with us Nidhi Singh, a PCOS warrior and founder of PCOS Club India. Welcome, Nidhi.
Thanks, Radhika. It's a pleasure.
Nidhi, let's start by first talking about your own tryst with PCOS.
PCOS is a very underspoken condition, but yet affecting 1 in 4 women now, or 1 in 4 menstruators now in India. When I was diagnosed with PCOS about a decade ago, I was only given about 5 minutes by my health practitioner in a diagnosis telling me that you have PCOS and just do a bit of lifestyle changes, take these medications and come back when you want to get pregnant. I went back home and I started Googling, and there were horrific things that I learned about, that you could have cancer, you won't be able to get pregnant, there are so many side effects of medications, and the list goes on. And we all know that when you Google PCOS, you get so many different things. So somebody says do Ayurveda, somebody says do this, and you are sort of caught in the whole rush. But at that point in time, unfortunately, there were not many blogs or the kind of content that you see on socials. The knowledge again was very limited. It took me 6 years to find the right expert. When I say right expert, somebody who could spend time with me to understand this condition, find the medications or the treatment that suited my body and my PCOS. And finally, I was able to sort of got hold of my condition.
I found 2 takeaways from your answer. A, the fact that we're so dismissive about PCOS as a condition being, okay, manage kar lo jab tak pregnant nahi hona, right? And B, the fact that you would not refer to them as women, but as menstruators. Could you take us through both these concerns?
Sure. So, there are a lot of these standard, statements that, we are told as patients कि चलो जब आपको pregnant होना होगा तब आप मेरे पास आना, मैं आपकी दवाई change करूँगी for, that particular reason. But PCOS is not that you take away only when you want to get pregnant, right? You still have a life that you have to lead, and also, with all due respect, there are a lot of medications जो हर किसी को suit नहीं करती. So say for example, you are prescribed a hormone therapy way, मगर ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो आपको अच्छे से suit करेगी, and your day-to-day life might get affected. While there are some people who really might need it, there are ways to sort of opt for various different kind of hormone therapy. तो हार्मोन थेरेपी भी आजकल बहुत तरीके की आती हैं जिसमें लेस साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स होते हैं, ज़्यादा साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स होते हैं. तो हमें क्या ज़रूरत है आज की डेट में कि एक पेशेंट और डॉक्टर का रिलेशनशिप बहुत फ्रेंडली होना चाहिए, सो दैट आई फील कॉन्फिडेंट टू आस्क एज मेनी क्वेश्चंस एज टू अ डॉक्टर, सो दैट आई कैन बी एम्पावर्ड टू मेक दैट डिसीजन एंड नॉट कि वन साइडेड हो. तो अगर मुझे डॉक्टर ये बोलता है कि कम बैक व्हेन यू प्रेग्नेंट, आई शुड बी एबल टू आस्क व्हाई, बिकॉज आई एम स्टिल living with this side effects or symptoms which I need a solution for. And fortunately, through various kind of therapies, you can manage your symptoms. So whenever anybody is told that, come back when you're pregnant, or, just do a lifestyle change and you have to take this medication, or koi ilaj nahi hai, sorry, you have an option to put your foot down, to either change your health practitioners, or find solutions through different communities like what we build at PCOS Club, to make the decision. So it's your decision, it's not the doctor's or the health practitioner decision, it's your body. So that's what I feel, that you should be empowered to make a decision of having or choosing your treatments, and asking for the right thing. Secondly, about the menstruators, I would say anybody who has a uterus and who bleeds can have PCOS, and it should not be ignored. Again, our traditional healthcare systems sort of, are focused of educating or telling about PCOS and periods just for women, while there is a trans community who should be addressed as well, and it should be gender inclusive when it comes to PCOS treatments or fertility treatments, and that should be part of our language as we use as well.
At what point in your journey did you feel that here's a community that I need to build? And there's a huge lack of conversation or discourse around PCOS. Was there a trigger point for you?
Learning from lived experiences and getting support is as important, because this is not a disease that you give a medication and goes away. It's a condition, and it can take different forms, in different, sort of years. It might affect you differently when you're about to get pregnant. It might affect you differently when you're a young child. So I think having that community gives you strength, motivation, and also helps you sort of keep inspired and learn from each other's stories. So loneliness of dealing with this condition was one of the first factors that made me build the page that I have, because I myself went through it. Because when I used to explain this to my family, they were like, you're just making up. Ye sab tumhare dimag mein hai. And then when I used to tell them, then they were like, I'm sure there's a solution, you're just making it up. But when they actually saw the difference of, when I started the page, they realized that, it's definitely the community that helps you. Second part was that when you're going through PCOS, I'm sure many would agree with me that there are so many different kind of solutions that you get to cure. So one is that तुम होम्योपैथी कर लो, तुम आयुर्वेदा कर लो, अच्छा तुमने ये ट्राई करा है, चलो तुम ये ट्राई करो. एंड जब किसी को PCOS होता है या वो डायग्नोज होता है, दे आर वेरी वल्नरेबल कि उनको जो भी बोल देंगे वो करने को तैयार हैं टू गेट देयर पीरियड्स. तो दे विल बी लाइक, हाँ मैं टी पी लेती हूँ, या फिर मैं गोली खा लेती हूँ. अच्छा तुमने बोला है इतना योगा करना है, ठीक है मैं ये ही वाला योगा करूँगी. मगर ज़रूरी नहीं है कि सबको एक ही चीज़ हेल्प करेगी. एंड PCOS एक बहुत अंडर रिसर्च्ड टॉपिक है. बहुत सारी लोग अराउंड द वर्ल्ड आर researching about it, but there's no one specific solution to this condition. So इसमें help क्या करता है कि something might help you. You have all these options available in front of you. So अच्छा अगर आपने होम्योपैथी ट्राई करा, नहीं वर्क करा, चलो ये भी है जो ट्राई किया है, and you can connect with that person and sort of get that information so that you are able to make the decision where you feel कि अच्छा यार this clicks with me.
So Nidhi, what have been 5 of your top commandments to manage PCOS?
Okay, so my top 5 they always start with the first one, which is the sleep. Not many people would put that at the first point, but I will. Reason being that if you are underslept, you might not find energy to work out. You might not find energy to eat better. You will feel groggy. And with PCOS, you're already dealing with so much stress. So sleep quality, and that too as per circadian rhythm, which means that sleeping in the night and not in the morning. So when I say 6 to 8 hours of sleep, doesn't mean that you go to sleep at 4 a.m. and complete your 8-hour cycle. So number 2 is building good eating habits. not a weight loss diet. We know that there is lean PCOS, there is obese PCOS, both of them can get PCOS. So just a weight loss diet, if it was supposed to work, then we all were, cured of PCOS. It's about building sustainable habits. So building sustainable habits means instead of taking out rotis and carbohydrates from your diet, I would rather put carbohydrates which have low glycemic index, which are lighter on your gut. So PCOS is also a metabolic condition. You might feel a lot of indigestion, and we have also seen that sometimes dairy and gluten may also cause. So it's not one size fits all, by the way. I'm not saying dairy causes PCOS or gluten causes PCOS. It's just that you have to do a hit and trial to see, okay, if I'm eliminating certain kind of foods, if I'm feeling better or not. So building sustainable habits is number 2. Third is doing exercises which are, slow intensity, but it is strength focused. So what happens is that there is a difference. So there's a difference between losing weight through your muscle or through fat, right? So you may be lean, but your fat to muscle ratio could still be higher. In lean PCOS, you might look thin, but you may have a lot of fat inside your body. And that is lost somewhere, the whole idea that, if you're thin, you don't need to exercise. That's the biggest thing that, that's the biggest myth I want to burst, that, and which I hear a lot, that, oh, tu to patli hai, teko exercise karne ki zarurat nahi hai. That's completely bullshit. Number 4th, and equally important, is the mental health. So, lot of side effects from a medication, or of course coming from environmental factors, your relationships, many of the things can affect your mental health, and we have been, ignorant about it. Most of us are ignorant about it. Most of us take a lot of time to also acknowledge that we might need therapy. We all need outlet of the emotions that start taking a form of a physical illness, right? You may manifest your stress in different forms of pain, in different forms of all I can just sort of summarize as mental health is also your physical health, if I were to just summarize it. So please give it importance. The 5th point is taking supplements or nutraceuticals with the help of your health practitioner. So just to give you an example, people with PCOS, 90% of the cases we've seen, they are low on vitamin D3 and B12. Not everybody with PCOS may be losing their periods, but they may be bleeding for months. So heavy bleeding भी होता है PCOS में, तो उसमें आप you lose a lot of blood, you may be low on iron, काफ़ी undetected जाता है. तो काफ़ी cases में we see that even D3, B12 levels are single या double digits, मतलब बहुत ही low है उनका. They might need injections, immediate help. And उन्होंने सारा treatment करा लिया होगा, but सिर्फ ये चीज़ रह जाती है उनकी. तो जिसको भी PCOS है, मैं ये बोलूँगी कि सबसे पहले तो अपना D3 और B12 ज़रूर चेक करना. And if it is low, then please get immediate supplementation with the help of your doctor or your health practitioner, so that it might, just not affect your symptoms.
PCOS or anything to do with women's reproductive health per se is so stigmatized that it definitely affects a woman's state of mind, whether it's how she looks at it herself or how others make it look to her. Would you like to talk about both of these aspects?
Absolutely. I think the stigma attached to PCOS can make someone go through hell, if I can just put it very briefly, for everybody who might be dealing with it. जब कोई लड़की को PCOS डायग्नोज होता है, तो उसको बोला जाता है कि आप चुप रहो, किसी को बताना मत, वरना लोग क्या कहेंगे, आपसे कोई शादी नहीं करेगा, या फिर इतने साल हो गए तो मैं एक बच्चा नहीं दे पाई. And all of these comments just make a person feeling, going through hell. How does one deal with it alone? Imagine a young girl who's like a 16-year-old, being told to shut up and not talk about it, while what she wants to do is scream out and sort of say, hey, anybody is listening to me, can you give me help? Imagine what's going on outside and inside. So I think what we need is more conversation so that we don't suffer in silence. Because the more we talk, the more people get help and the more there is outlet of these emotions.
Okay, Nidhi, that's great, as far as creating awareness about PCOS is concerned. But I'd also like to ask you, when we talk about menstruation per se, there's a whole lot of emphasis as far as educating women, girls about it at the school level is extremely important. We haven't heard about that when it comes to PCOS. So would you say there's a certain right age for girls to start knowing about this condition?
You picked up a very important point here, that PCOS in young girls or adolescent. I did mention it in a different segment that PCOS can affect you differently at different stages of woman's life. So when she's a young girl, when she is about to get pregnant, or when she's going through a menopause or perimenopause. As much important it is to talk about it in young women or a menstruator, it is also important to talk about an adolescent. Now, as per the international PCOS guidelines, diagnosing PCOS in adolescent is very, very tricky. We do a lot of sessions in schools and colleges, and I feel this should become part of the curriculum, in fact, where the women and even the mothers and the children are told that how you must live an active lifestyle to avoid these disorders. So I'm with you when you say that we must do more sessions and we must do more awareness, and that's what we're trying to sort of build a lot of other camps, but much more work is needed in different cities, especially tier 2, tier 3 cities, in different languages. So what we're trying to do is partnering with local communities and doing sessions in multilingual way so that the message is still sent across. Yeah, I mean, we are only getting started, I would say, but a lot needs to be done to reach more people. The records in India, if you look at the national health records, after 2016, I have not seen this number changed. In fact, the last article that one of the leading newspapers wrote was, who quoted 1 in 5, is a very archaic number. It's been almost like 9-10 years and we're still quoting this number. It is only an estimation. Now, India being the second highest country with diabetes, we are quite prone to have it more with the kind of bodies that we have, our genetics. I'm pretty sure this number is much higher, and the more we talk about it, the earlier people get diagnosed, the earlier they get treatments. And as I said, we need more and more hands to join us to do that, to be able to do that work.
Right, so teach them young, and teach them for sure. Great. That has been an extremely enlightening session, Nidhi. Thank you for sharing such beautiful insights, which are not just about the medical aspect of PCOS, but also sociological and psychological. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Radhika, for having me. Thank you so much for talking about this condition.
So that was Nidhi Singh of PCOS Club India. For more such conversations, stay tuned to HealthShots.